Hi there, listener. You're about to experience TADPOG. Tyler and Dave play old games, and there will be plenty of game talk, but also copious amounts of crude, off-color, offensive, and immature speech. So if you are of a rather sensitive humor constitution, we're just letting you know what you're in for with this show. It has games. It has jokes. You know, just games and jokes. Take the games, take the jokes, and have a good time.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to another TADPOG podcast. It's Wednesday, so it's original flavor, talking about IGN's top 100 SNES games. We do this twice a week. Sort of semi-weekly, sort of bi-weekly, whatever you want. It happens twice a week. But in this show, two old guys talk about old games. I'm your bearded host, Tyler, and while Jacob and Ashley Shake were in this week, I had the opportunity to talk about a magical place that I went many, many years ago, and I think I should tell the Tadpog Nation about this magical place. It no longer exists. You can't go there anymore. It only exists now in my memory and just in the lives that it touched.
What place is it?
It is a strip club known as Club Erotica.
All right. Is that the one in Paris?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because Murray State University, where Dave and I both went, it was the county, of course, back then it was dry, and it had no strip clubs. It was basically just a college and then a bunch of fast food restaurants. And that was
Callaway
it.
County.
Yeah. Callaway County, Kentucky. So anytime that you wanted to either get alcohol or go to a strip club, you had to drive across state lines into Paris, Tennessee. And Paris, Tennessee is it's a place.
Yeah.
It's somewhere you can go.
It barely qualifies as a place. Like
Yeah.
it meets the minimum requirements of being a place.
And shortly after you cross into Paris, Tennessee, there was a strip club. I'm going to say strip, and then quotes around club. Club Erotica was a double-wide trailer that was set up on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And that Club Erotica was spelled out in like Christmas lights on top of it, and there was like a sign somebody crudely hand-painted in front of it. You had to park like only on the side of the highway. They didn't really have a parking lot, so just cars lining up and down the side of the highway. So you get out, and it was several of us, because we only went that one time. We always meant to go back, but by the time the universe had rejected Club Erotica, and it was closed.
I never went to this one. So it sounds like
It's something.
from your description so far, it sounds like I would really like it.
Yep. Because it's about as skeezy as you
Oh,
can
man.
get.
Oh, I wish I could have gone.
Because we go into the double-wide trailer known as Club Erotica, and all the chairs are lawn chairs. They're all rickety, like metal and then like, plastic stripe over it, lawn chairs. And then the dancing area, of course, does have a pole in it.
Yeah.
And it is roped off by like police tape, like do not cross or whatever, just, and you walk in and it's
Because all the dancers are a crime scene, right?
pretty much. So and then you can tell what would have been like the bathrooms for the double wide trailer have beads hanging over them, and that's the private dance area.
All right.
So I guess they've taken the toilet out, putting a chair down, placed a chair.
You would assume.
Yeah.
Did you go back there?
I did not get a private dance
Damn
there.
it. I want to know what's behind there now.
But we went in and sat down in the lawn chairs, and it was like a scene out of Dogma because it's college kids.
Because Selma Hayek was there.
Well, college kids, a bunch of rednecks, and then like a group of like 6 to 8 black guys, like in Dogma, on the other side of the stage, and like the stripper will dance like away from them toward like the other people, and then you see like one in the front will reach out and just like make it rain. And then she comes over and she'll dance on them a little bit, and then like
skimper over there.
somebody else has like holds out money or whatever, and she'll turn and get halfway there before again he just throws out money and makes her, she crawls back. And like anybody that tries to take the stripper away from that group of guys, no, not having it. Not having it. So she's just like, it's borderline like a lot of shit goes down at a strip club. This is borderline like that should be in a back room. What this, she's just throwing out money, and we're all just like,
Wait, you mean like what she's doing on stage?
what she's doing on stage. She'll cross the police tape
Yeah.
and do all sorts of shit to
Like-
them while everybody
Oh,
else
I
is
see.
like holding out dollar bills like dejectedly.
Oh, so like she gets off the stage and like gives
Yeah.
them special attention.
Exactly. So it's just, I guess she was the one on stage at that moment was the only semi-attractive one. Everyone else was about as busted as you can get. So we stayed for about 45 minutes.
Oh, man.
Just kind of, it wasn't even like a sexual experience. It was just, we were just in awe of the area before we just like, all right, we need to get out of here before something happened. So then we got in our cars and went down 2 miles down the road to the Foxy Lady.
Now that one I'm familiar with.
Which was the nicer strip club.
Yeah, and that's not really super nice. Is it still around?
Nope.
So like we can't get a sponsorship from either of these places.
Sadly, no. Once they changed the strip club laws in Tennessee,
how did they
changed
shut
down a lot.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did.
Because you have to be. It's non-nude.
Right.
Well, not if you want to be close to them, it's non-nude. So lap dances are non-nude.
Right.
And then if they're naked, you have to be like 5 feet away from them. So I think that killed a lot of the strip club business in Tennessee.
Is that so that they don't provoke attacks of opportunity?
Yes, exactly. So you can back away and no one's like swinging out swords. Because the last time I went was for my bachelor party, and we were unaware that the laws had changed.
Yeah.
And it was a very sad evening.
Yeah. I'm Dave, your bespectacled host, and man, I'm really grasping at straws here now for a strip club story. And the sad thing is, I'm not like trying to find a strip club story. I'm just trying to find the right strip club story.
You're just going through your archive and trying to pick which one.
Because I haven't been in a long time, and I think it's because we used to go as pretty big groups. And
yep. And Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned that before, our Christmas Eve, what we used to do. Then Meg had to go get ordained. And now...
Well, I kind of feel weird going alone. Like I've never gone alone.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I will cross that threshold. Maybe I'll do it just under the guise of, I'm doing it for TADPOG Story. Doing it for TADPOG Story. But I remember the first time I went, it was also, let's keep this Tennessee theme. And it's still my favorite strip club. It was one of the first ones I went to. It's called the Brass Stables in Nashville. And this was just seedy as fuck. It's just seedy. And I love it. It's just something about, it's not nearly as fun looking at strange naked women who are attractive. It's not as fun unless there's a risk of getting stabbed.
Yeah. It's the danger that draws you in.
It really is.
You don't want to look at girls and be safe. You need to look at girls and be just a little bit of danger.
Yeah, I want to feel vulnerable with a shitload of cash money in my hands. I don't even know if they're there anymore, but I remember getting a lap dance there, and one of the girls was taking me to the back, and on my way back, I saw one of the dancers going down on a female customer while her boyfriend, let's just say boyfriend, was watching and giving her money. And I remember the dancer turning to me and saying, "Pretend like you didn't see that. We got shut down last week. It can't happen again." So.
Well, that would have been like, well, you do that to me and I'm not telling anybody.
You turned me into a girl.
You go down on my vagina, my sweet, sweet vagina. I look like a boy, but no, trust me.
No. So that was an awful blue way to start the show.
There were very few curse words. It'll pass the Jacob York clean test.
If you're new to this show, what we do here is talk our way through
Just talk
IGN's.
about seedy, awful strip clubs.
If we did a strip club review, like that's good enough excuse to like just start going to strip clubs again,
Yep.
right? It's like I haven't been in like a very long time. It's probably been at least 5 years.
It's our new TADPOG. We take the old-fashioned Game Boys, and you have Pokemon Red, I have Pokemon Blue, and we go into strip clubs and we just catch Pokemon, and we talk about our experiences on the show.
Can we interview strippers and like ask them what their favorite Pokemon is?
Ask them if they want to battle. That's where we're going.
We'll have to tell the story about Super Stripper one time.
Okay.
Not now.
Sometime. We're on overload right now.
Paywall.
So sometime.
So yeah, we besides talk about strippers, which we'd love to do. Don't get us wrong. We also like to talk about video games, particularly on Wednesdays. We go through IGN's top 100 Super Nintendo games in order. And then this week we're on number 51?
Yes.
Which is I hope it's Super Ghouls and Ghosts because that's what I played.
That's what I played too.
Okay.
So
Okay, good.
unless we're both just totally fucked up. So
Yeah.
either way, it's what we're talking about.
Did you play this game as a kid?
I played the NES version briefly,
Ghosts and Goblins.
and that was it.
That's a hard game.
Yeah.
That's a very difficult game.
The furthest I ever got, I don't think I ever beat the first stage on it when I was a kid. I think one of my friends just had it, and I tried it, and I wanted to be good at it because it looked fun.
Yeah.
And it plays, I mean, it is fun for a little while until you just start, just fucking dying all the time.
Well, it's really hard. I played that as well. I never beat it. I still want to one day before I die. Hopefully I can beat that game. I can get to I guess the fourth level, the fourth world or whatever. I can get past the music change.
Okay.
And then the Super Ghouls and Ghosts, which I always thought was the sequel. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's actually the third game in the series. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
I thought it was because the Nintendo game, Ghosts and Goblins, is a port of the Capcom arcade game. Mm-hmm. And then I just assumed that Super Ghouls and Ghosts was another arcade port. It's not. It's actually completely designed for the Super Nintendo. The second game was an arcade game, and it was just called Ghouls and Ghosts. And I've never played it, but
I know.
I want to. Now I want to.
And I feel like these games, these are like iconically just horrendously difficult games.
Yeah. Ghosts and Goblins, yes. I think so. Mm-hmm. I think that Super Ghouls and Ghosts was challenging.
Yes.
But I don't think it was nearly as difficult as Ghosts and Goblins because
I'm with you.
I don't think that Ghosts and Goblins was necessarily designed to be more difficult. But I remember that game being glitchy as fuck.
There was no learning the patterns.
No. Which fortunately you could do in Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I thought it was like akin to, you know how when you learn a boss in a game, you're fighting a boss and you memorize his patterns, and then once you have his patterns memorized, you really just hone in on your timing, and then it becomes like this weird ninjutsu where it's just like it's just magic. It's just magic. You know what it's. You can read the enemy's telegraphs, and then you just do your own thing. I felt like that's how Super Ghouls and Ghosts was. I felt like a one big boss battle because it was just memorizing when the enemies are going to come in and how to best handle those guys and,
that's true.
And all that.
But I guess we can say, you're right. It's not as difficult. I think we've proven that because we both beat it.
Did you finish it?
I did.
Good.
So it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be because Josh Nance kind of scared the shit out of me before.
Me too.
He's like, yeah, I turned on Invincibility and Infinite Lives and I still could not beat this game. I was like, oh, damn it.
So we're better than Josh.
Oh, yeah.
Of Being a Racers fan.
We're so better.
So much better. I played maybe the first level of Super Ghouls and Ghosts when I was younger, but I didn't own it, so I never finished it. So it was nice to finish it.
Yeah, I remember wanting to play it because I remember one of the few gaming magazines I had as a kid had a walkthrough in it.
Nice.
A review and walkthrough. I remember I thought it looked so badass. Like, look, he has gold armor now and he's throwing stuff. I remember looking over and just thinking it looked so cool and I was so ready to play it. I only had access to the NES version, so I was just constantly sad.
I hear a train coming, Tyler.
Oh yeah.
It's a little behind schedule, little bit. And actually, we did have Trainsy roll through before we started recording, and it was the loudest Trainsy I've ever heard.
Yep.
So, guys, Super Ghouls and Ghosts originally released in Japan as Chomakai Mura, which translates to Ultra Demon World Village. Is a side-scrolling platform game produced by Capcom, originally released for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System in 1991. So this was a super early game. It wasn't a launch title.
I wouldn't have thought that.
But it was in October in Japan, November in North America. So yeah, it would have been a couple months after the release. In here, like I said, it's the third game in the Ghosts and Goblins series. And then after that, it talks about all the times it's been re-released. It's been re-released a bunch. There was a version that came out for the GBA, and then they came out for the Wii Virtual Console, and then now the Wii U Virtual Console. That's pretty much it, except for the plot. There's not much of a plot. It's very similar to Ghosts and Goblins. Princess Pri has been abducted by a demon.
Sardis.
Sardis, yeah. And you have to go save
An
her.
awful demon name. Awful demon name.
It was I think in the Japanese version, it was Samael.
That's much better.
Which
that's an actual demon.
Is a demon name. Sardis, on the other hand, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like sardines. No.
The demon lord of sardines. The 167th layer of the abyss.
This game, I had a good time. I expected to just be punished and frustrated, and there was some of that because it's a pretty difficult game. But it's not like I didn't get to the point where I wanted to just break down like I did with Earthworm Jim.
I'm surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
I really didn't think you were going to like this game at all. I was just ready to defend the hell out of this game because I fucking loved it.
Now this podcast is going to be 20 minutes long.
Yeah, I know. I really like the game a lot. Like, I mean, playing this game made me feel good to the point where it's like maybe from here on out, all we're going to play on IGN's list are good games.
No. I've never thought that. I won't think that until we get to like the third spot. Then I'm like, okay, now we're just good. Now we're golden.
I don't think we have another sports game except for NBA Jam.
Okay, well, that makes me feel better.
Which,
that will be.
Because I was perusing through earlier today. I could be mistaken, but NBA Jam is barely a sports game. Like it is the bare minimum of a sports game.
Yeah. But the music was great.
Yeah.
The graphics are solid. I didn't think it would be this early. I would have figured would be a 94 release, after developers had gotten more used to the Super Nintendo.
It could have been. I mean, because I agree. I thought it looked great. I thought the sound was good. The music was good.
Colors seemed spot on. It wasn't glitchy. It wasn't.
No. And my only issue with performance was that when there are like 6 or 7 sprites on the screen,
it would slow down.
It slows down.
Yeah.
But that's pretty rare that would happen.
I can think of twice it happened to me.
Yeah. It was rare for me as well. It changed my gameplay a little bit because you play as Arthur. And as you're going to rescue Princess Pri, you can kill enemies if you want, but most of the time I would just try to avoid them. And the slowdown actually caused me to change my gameplay a little bit to where I would actually kill more enemies just because I didn't want to deal with the slowdown.
Yeah, there were only a few levels where I pretty much killed everything in my path. There were only a few times where I just had to get the fuck out. Just a few scenarios where it was like, I don't see a way to get through this and not get hit. I guess an iconic thing about this series is Arthur looks all great in armor.
Yeah.
He gets hit once, you're in your boxers.
Right.
And if you get hit while you're in your boxers, you turn into a pile of bones.
Turn to bones.
Yep, that's it.
In the death animation is really creepy to me because like he gets hit, right? And then he flies in whatever direction he got hit. He flies in that direction or the opposite direction while he morphs into bones and then they land on the ground. And then there's this one little animation right after they land where they kind of settle. And when they settle, the sockets close. And that really creeps me out when the sockets close. The rest of that I'm fine with.
There's the whole like X-ray, cartoonish X-ray, and the bones falling and settling.
But if I think about like a skull blinking, that sets me on edge. I really don't. That's creepy.
Okay. Because they can't blink. They're just sockets.
Yeah, they're just sockets. It's weird. There are different colored armors. Unlike Ghosts and Goblins.
Yeah, which I remember looking through those books and be like, man, the green armor looks badass. Oh, the gold armor looks even more badass. I wonder what it does. I have no idea what it does.
It doesn't give you more armor.
Nope. Like I wouldn't have thought it would.
Like any sane person would think.
Yep.
You still, if you get hit while you're wearing green armor or gold armor, it still flies off your body. But instead, it powers up your weapon, whatever weapon you're holding. Like, for instance, you start out the game with a lance, right? And
lance and your gray steel full plate.
Right. Your lance is pretty slow. You throw it straight forward. You throw all the weapons. All the weapons you throw. And there's no melee. There's no such thing as melee.
Yeah, Arthur does not melee.
No. So you start out with the lance, and with the steel armor, it's pretty slow and it moves straight forward. Once you get an armor upgrade, The first one is, I believe they call it bronze, but it's green. They call it bronze armor, but it's just fucking green. And it has like a dorsal fin sticking out of the front. And
It looks like a frog suit from
yeah,
Mario. Yeah.
And it essentially supercharges the lance or whatever weapon you're holding. And then
It goes like the full length of the screen, right?
right.
Yeah.
The next upgrade, the gold armor, makes your weapon do all kinds of crazy shit depending on what you got.
Yeah, because you can hold it down and charge it up for different effects. And then you get these upgrades by randomly spawning treasure chests.
And that's super important. I didn't realize that when I played like the first level as a kid, is that if you don't know how to spawn the chest, the hidden chest, you're fucked. You're fucked. Because all those chests have your armor upgrades. They have your different weapon choices. If you were
Traps.
Yeah, there's traps. There is a warlock. Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about the bear traps?
So I only got the bear trap once.
Yeah,
The rest of the time, it was always the warlock.
I was tempted to go over the bear trap because I was like, I've never seen this thing, but it does look like a bear trap.
Is it armor that clamps over
Right.
me? So
Do I get to throw bear traps at ghosts? Because if so, sign me up. I didn't run over it though.
it hit me. It hit me.
Does it just
Yeah, it
remove
kills
your
you.
arm? Okay.
Yeah, you just die.
I like sometimes a warlock will pop out of a chest and he will fire a magic orb. And I call him a warlock because he can't be a wizard. Because a wizard wouldn't wear spandex like that.
Nope.
He kind of looks
He
like
has
a
no beard.
Yeah, well, that's true. There was no wizard.
He has sunglasses. That's more of a warlock move.
Yeah, he kind of looks like a court jester almost.
Yeah.
So I don't know what this guy's backstory is, but he hides in chests randomly around the world, and when you open them, he fires an orb at you that polymorphs you into. One time I got turned into a baby. One time I got turned into a seal, and I was kissed by a rose. Yeah, and then I got in a motorcycle accident. That's literally all I know about seal. And then one time, most often, I got turned into a fair young maiden.
I didn't know you get turned into other things because every time I got turned into a little girl.
It depends on what you're wearing when he transmogrifies you.
Oh, see, I pretty much had the gold armor the whole time.
That's the way to roll. The only one he didn't catch me in was the green armor. So I don't know what you turn into when he hits you with the green armor. Probably, I'm going to go ahead and guess and say, since he turns you into seal when you're wearing the steel armor, I'm going to say he probably turns you into U2.
Yep, turns you into Bono and the Edge.
Exactly.
And you have to finish the games with them.
Right.
And that's the depth of my musical knowledge of U2. I'm pretty sure it's accurate.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, all right. Because I don't feel like you kept the green armor very long because you get the green armor, like the next chest is the gold armor, if you can keep it long enough.
Yeah.
And then there's no upgrade from the gold armor.
Yep. What was your favorite weapon? I'm curious.
I pretty much kept the the magical crossbow pretty much the whole game. I jumped over every upgrade. That's the arrows that would seek out your enemy, like the 3 spread, chase after them. I wanted nothing else. One time I accidentally got the scythe and reset.
Yeah. The scythe is garbage, dude. Yeah. The scythe is no good. I remember being excited because I don't think the scythe was in Ghosts and Goblins. So I was like, new weapon. Awesome. I picked it up immediately, regretted it.
Yep.
Immediately. Because I was like, I can't remember what enemy it was, but I threw the scythe at it and it did not kill it in one hit. And I was like, nope, I'm fucking boned. I like the dagger. Because the dagger's solid no matter what armor you're wearing.
That's true.
Because like in the steel armor, it's still just as powerful as a lance, but it's super fast. And then when you power it up to the gold armor, when you hold it down and charge, when you let go, it turns into a ghost dragon and kills stuff on screen. I don't know where they make that leap. Like, I don't know how you go from dagger to ghost dragon. But it does, and it's pretty badass.
Let's see. And my least favorite weapon is, of course, the one that you're forced to use if you actually want to beat the game, which was the Goddess Bracelet.
I like it.
But I guess we should get to that later, though.
No, let's talk about
that. Do it now.
Well, I mean, there's not a whole lot of backstory to the Goddess Bracelet.
Yeah.
You go through the game once, and then the princess tells you that...
She sends you like a telepathic message, I guess, when you get close enough to her.
Right. She says, don't even bother. You can't kill Sardis, the Lord of Sardines unless you come back with a goddess bracelet. I hid it.
I had it. I totally had it.
Yeah.
I didn't know it, but I had it.
If she would have just kept it, she could have freed herself.
Yeah, she could have
Right?
killed him. Been fine. She could have turned the hero saving the princess trope upside down and just broken through barriers. No, she didn't.
I think I might have preferred that.
Yeah.
But instead, you go back. Arthur goes back to the very beginning of the game, and you go through it again. And
I expected there to be something like that, but I was like, I killed Astaroth and his incarnation, and then I was like, oh fuck.
What? Can we talk about him for a minute? Because that guy has the best pants in the world. Because his pants have a living face on it, on the right on the crotch.
And it breathes just huge gouts of fire.
Yes, which I'm not sure if it's the face that breathes fire or if he just has
Fire crotch?
fire crotch. His cock may just fire may just spew from it.
The dagger has the ghost dragon, and this guy has the flame gout penis.
Yes, the Gooter of Flame.
The gooter. Incendiary gooter.
If this is actually giving me a good idea for a D&D character later. He has what'd you call him? Astaroth?
Astaroth was his name. Astaroth.
I'm glad you remember his name because I sure as hell don't. My character has his pants and he has the ghost dragon dagger. It's a toss up between his pants and Ozzy pants. That's what I kept calling him as I was playing the game.
Motherfucking his Aussie pants. Fucking Aussie pants. That'll be a link in the show notes if you don't know what Aussie pants are.
Chrono Trigger.
Earthbound. Which I had to buy as soon as I bought the Wii. As soon as I got my Wii U,
Yeah.
went to the store and bought Earthbound.
I hear it's one of the best games out for Wii U. It's one of the oldest ones too.
Yeah. That's why Jacob York sent me a link to his friend who reviews games, and his game of the year was Earthbound since it was re-released this year for the Wii U. I was like, I like this guy. This guy knows what's up.
Does his friend need help
I don't
writing
know.
reviews?
Probably.
We need some of that sweet review money.
Or just sweet review exposure. It's fine. Either way.
Both. A little bit of both.
We could do both.
He's probably not reviewing strip clubs. Just saying.
So you talk about the levels of this game.
Yeah, I feel like we were going to talk about the goddess bracelet, but I got off track.
Yeah, you're right. Goddess bracelet.
But we can talk about the levels because you got to go through all those levels
Again.
to fight Sardis.
They're very long at first.
Yeah,
And
so
then
it's not just me, right?
Yeah.
Because it felt like this game the further you got into it, the shorter and shorter the levels are.
Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of what happens with, I guess they didn't know how to budget for the Super Nintendo yet, so game developers are very grandiose at first, and then they're like, oh, fuck, we're running out of money, we're out of time, just make the levels just super short. It's fine.
Because they get really, like the last two levels are really short.
There's like 6 screens,
Yeah.
and you're at the end.
As compared to the first one, which is so fucking long.
Really long.
So fucking
It has
long.
like 2 sub-levels, and yeah, it's so fucking long.
And what's interesting, I think, is once you master the first level, which it's so long, I feel like by the time you get out of it, you have mastered the basics of the game. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
that's true.
I feel like if you can get past the first level, you are fully capable of completing the game, just with a little time.
Yeah, that's true. I can see that. Because that once I try that. Well, with the exception, I feel like the only other thing you don't get in level 1 is in level 2, which is you having to jump from raft to raft.
Right.
There's not a lot of automatic death platforming.
That's true.
Although poor Arthur in his heavy ass full plate just on rafts trying to jump around.
What did you think of the platforming?
So, okay, throwing your weapon, tight, spot-on controls.
Yes.
Moving in different directions, tight, spot-on controls.
Yeah.
Fucking jump. Because you automatically get double jump starting off.
Right.
But once you jump, you are vulnerable as hell.
Because you can't change direction.
Yeah, that's
You can
it.
only change direction once, and that's when you activate double jump, which that is still very tight.
Yeah, it's
I feel
tight
like
and
the
it's
jumping is tight,
slow.
the double jump is tight, but yes, it is slow, and you are completely
So
vulnerable.
that's an intentional, design decision for everything else to be so good, and then to make it where the jumps make you, because I would jump to avoid something and then automatically
will
something else
swoop
gets
in
me.
immediately.
That's
Yep.
it. No,
To teach you, and you have to teach yourself, okay, I can't jump this way in this area. And then they've also got the platforming is really difficult. That's the difficult part of the game, is how they've designed it, because there are certain areas where you have to double jump to get from a ledge on the left to the ledge on the right. But the ledge on the right will be so small that you have to not only double jump, you have to figure out when you're going to double jump.
Yeah, because once your following trajectory it's just set, you'll just soar right over or soar just short. So you have to know. Yeah, it was that I ran into that problem on stage 3 a lot in the foundry.
Yeah.
To where you're having those pieces of rock that stick up, and then it's a very frustrating Mega Man-ish experience with the flashing, disappearing blocks. It's reminiscent of that, because as soon as you land on it, you have like 2 seconds before you jump and land on the other one. And they're so narrow, and then your double jump is just enough to get it.
Yeah, they're the width of Arthur himself.
Yeah.
There's no leeway.
That I feel like that jumping segment, and then the whole level where you're inside something.
Yeah, you're in
Those
the digestive
were by
tract of
far
something.
the hardest. Yeah.
Well, the first part of that, there's 2 parts of that digestion level. Mm-hmm. And the first part is pretty easy, I think, compared to the second part, where in the second part, you're on a raft inside a digestive tract, I guess.
Yeah, and it's got like exploding tumors and gas pockets.
Yeah. And that part was really hard for me because the screen is rotating back and
It's
forth
just trying to fuck with
at
you.
a 20-degree angle.
You're not actually moving. It's like it's just kind of vibrating to fuck with your head.
I almost quit playing the game at that point because I don't get motion sickness ever playing video games. Ever. I never have. But the first time I started playing that level, I got queasy.
Yeah.
Just from the rocking back and forth.
I've only gotten motion sick with one game in one segment, and that being Portal.
Really?
There was
The first Portal?
The first Portal. Close to the end where you're having to time your jumps to throw you very far.
Yeah.
And you have to loop yourself till you get your timing. And by the time I finished that fucking stage at the end, when you're outside the testing area, you're almost to GLaDOS.
Yeah.
And I'm just, fuck. I just had to like sit down and like walk around outside with my hands above my head.
Get a paper bag and bring it to it?
Oh, man. I don't have a weak stomach. If there was something about that just was, man, it made me sick.
That's how I felt about this because I don't know what it was, but something about it just going back and forth. While I was trying to do some difficult platforming,
Yeah.
I couldn't. I could barely
Because
handle it.
you have to make sure which I love the crossbow weapon. I find it very handy, but in some levels like this where there's that one pulsating tumor off to the side, you fire your crossbow,
Oh, man, I know
2
it.
arrows will go immediately, and that third one will just circle.
And you can't fire
Until
You can't
all
fire
3 arrows are gone, you
Yep.
can't fire again, and then I just get fucked. Just in these random points where it'll just circle the enemy or go off and float around, and that's just
You're
just
done.
dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, until you have to reset it and just well, damn it. That happened, I feel like the most sometimes on that level, but the most when you have to fight the red gargoyles.
Yes.
Like the fire brandish enemies.
Yes.
That's all the fucking time. All the fucking time it happened on those guys. I had to make sure I was right in their fucking face to shoot. Otherwise, they would just circle and that was it.
Those guys, the firebrands, those were so fucking difficult going through the second time with the goddess bracelet. Mm-hmm.
Because they really, I feel like in the NES version,
Yeah.
the difficulty didn't really change. You just had to go through it again. But in this one, the difficulty definitely spikes.
Well, yeah, the difficulty spikes, and you've got to do it with a weapon.
A subpar weapon.
Right. Which I don't know if you probably don't have to do the whole game
You
with
don't.
it.
You just have to make sure you finish. You have to kill Astaroth with the goddess bracelet.
But I was so worried that I wasn't going to get it. That when it dropped, the first time it dropped, I was in the second level. No, I was at the end of the first level. And I saw it drop because I'd never seen it before. This fairy appeared and circled and then turned into an item. And I was like, that's probably it. That's probably the goddess bracelet. So I nabbed it, and then I never wanted to switch it because I was worried I wouldn't find it again.
It'll only spawn if you have on, I believe, it only has a chance of spawning if you have on gold armor.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, if you're just like, if you get to the end and you're regular Arthur in his boxers,
Yeah.
you have to, if you beat Astaroth again without it, then the princess gives you the same speech and you start all over again. So
I was afraid something like that would happen. That's why I held on to it. And fortunately, when you die, you do lose your armor. Like if you've got gold armor and you die, you do come back with regular steel armor, but you keep your weapon. So that's why I just held on to it for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Which made the game more difficult because it's kind of a subpar weapon. It's really powerful up close, which is what I like about it. Because like if you get right up in an enemy's face and use it, they're dead.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's no 2 hits. I mean, they're 1 shot dead.
yeah, you can kill the final boss. If you get close enough to him, you can kill him in a few pass-throughs with the goddess bracelet.
But it has limited range. And the farther away you are from an enemy when you use it and it hits them, the less damage it does.
Yeah.
Because I could, those dogs in the ice level?
God, the fucking jumping dogs.
When I was far away from them, like the full length of the goddess bracelet's path, it would take 4 hits to kill those guys.
And that's kind of to make the game as easy as it needs to be for you to finish it. Like those guys need to die quickly.
Yeah.
Because their jumping is so hard to time and hit if you don't get them before they start jumping while they're at the far end of the screen.
And that's actually right after you get out of the digestive tract, which the boss for that is the giant worm, isn't he? Or no, it's the Hydra.
It's the Hydra because it goes. The stage 1 is like you're in the graveyard full of zombies,
Right.
And the final boss is the cockatrice,
Right. And his spawn,
Yep.
mini wing,
And the second stage, the ghost ship,
which I'll have you know,
frustrated me for a
Really?
while because I avoided every single ghost, not knowing that unless a ghost manifests fully, it can't hurt you. So I'm trying to maneuver and not hit any of those shadows
'cause they're
that are
wisps
all
in
over
the
the
background.
screen. Yeah,
Well, you don't have a ghost touch weapon, so
yeah, that's true. You can't kill them yet anyway.
right.
But and then the boss of that being the giant barnacle,
Yeah, that was kind of lame.
which the ghost ship itself, fine. I hated the raft, the second part of the stage, which is the raft moving up and down, destroying the enemies.
I didn't think it was tough. I thought I also didn't like it though because it was you have to go at its pace.
Yeah.
You can't speed up really or slow down
Yeah.
because the screen is scrolling horizontally.
The only thing I wish was different about this game is I wish the armor affected you differently. I wish that there was like more an advantage to Arthur being naked and each armor. Like I would have liked that unarmored Arthur could swim.
Okay.
Or was faster or could throw things further because he wasn't hampered by armor. But of course, like if you have the gold armor, which would be like the heaviest, it would limit your mobility. You would sink automatically. Maybe things wouldn't go as far when you threw them because you were weighted down, but you could take more hits and charge up your weapon. That it could almost have a little more strategy depending on how you wanted to play through it.
That's cool. I can dig that. I think my only complaint with that would be that I would then have to not only dodge enemies and not only dodge weapon power-ups that I don't want, I'd have to dodge armor power-ups that I don't want.
Yeah.
Because that's a weird element to this game is that we've talked about some of the weapons are just shit.
Yeah.
And you can't switch.
They'll pop up
Yeah.
frequently because enemies will have pots.
Yeah.
Like you'll just see random floating enemies with pots and they'll just drop shitty weapons on you.
Yeah. And I've died so many times trying to avoid a shitty weapon. Like there'd be, I don't know, a torch or something would fall on the ground, which the torch is not really shitty. It just wasn't my preferred weapon. And I would jump over it. And as I would jump over it, an enemy would fly in and be like, sorry, you're dead.
Yep. And look at the power-ups for the points, of course, bags of money.
Yeah.
And then miniature bust of Arthur.
Yeah.
The one with the visor up being worth 200 and then visor down is like worth 500.
Right. Because the Unknown Knights,
Yeah, they're worth, they could be anything.
Yeah,
They could be, Sir Lancelot.
there
You
could be
don't
a
know.
bag of money under that visor.
But then you go, I feel like the Foundry is the last. It's the Foundry at first, and then it's the stone towers that you circle around and destroy
And
gargoyles
that's
and
the
bats.
third world or level.
I feel like that part was easy. The actual Foundry, whenever the lava slag is dropping down, you have like just the mirrors just to get underneath them before another one falls.
Right.
So that combined with the jumping from stone to stone into lava was that was difficult.
And the giant cats that shoot fire out of their mouth.
Yep, the enormous
Yeah.
cats.
The one at the very bottom gave me a lot of trouble because you have to lure him to one side before you run under the smelting lava. That got a little tough. But the
Get a reprieve with the second part.
The second part is easy, and I think that's where the game, like, I feel like the second part of level 3 is when the game starts to get easy.
Yeah.
Because that's when it starts to feel sparse, because there aren't the first up to that point, the levels are just fucking crammed with enemies. Like, I mean, they are everywhere. They're I mean, up your ass, you know, and you're just there's no rest. I felt like I was just constantly running and jumping and killing, and then you get to that point, that tower, and then all of a sudden it just feels like you get a whole lot of breathing room.
It's like the designers were kids that just overlooked the dinner plate at the buffet table. Like, their eyes were just bigger than their stomach at first, and they're like, fuck, we can't keep doing this. Oh, damn it.
I want to work in a buffet metaphor, you know,
every episode.
Yeah.
Strippers and buffets. TADPOG.
Two great tastes. They go great together.
The towers, it looks cool the way you run up and down and it circles around and you're busting the gargoyles. Like, it's a nice look.
Yeah, the effect is really nice. And another one that you said, you know, that it looked like the game was later than 91. This is one of the parts.
Yeah.
Because it's a really nice effect and it doesn't get in the way of the game like a lot of visual effects did back in the Super Nintendo day, like a la Super Turrican.
Yeah, God. But it's because it was strange because you go, it's just, crazy foundry level, and then it's just stationary gargoyles and bats.
Yeah.
And they're not as frustrating as bats are in most games because they're pretty large.
Pretty big and slow.
Yeah, no problem.
No, not at all.
And you just go from tower to tower, riding these little bone bridges side to side, and then you reach the boss of that level, which is that worm.
Yeah.
That I thought he was the easiest boss in the game because if you just stood still, he would circle around you, and you would just peg him until he died.
I thought he was even easy with the goddess bracelet.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing. He would just circle around you, and I could kill him before he started throwing up stones.
Yeah, because he would throw stones and then just disappear, and the stones were easy to avoid, and then he'd just circle around you again.
Yeah, I was able to get him, like, second try, I was able to kill him with the goddess bracelet before he even threw a single stone.
Yeah. The stages are difficult.
Yeah.
The bosses are such a cakewalk.
Very easy.
Such a cakewalk.
Which was not the case in Ghosts and Goblins. I felt like the bosses were crazy difficult. Even like the first boss is this giant ogre that's huge. You have to hit him a million fucking times, and he's fast. He's jumping all over the screen.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
So yeah, they definitely changed up the formula.
Definitely.
I mean, at least I guess in enemy wise, platforming was still just as challenging, but actually defeating the enemies was much easier.
Well, I want to say before we go further, you mentioned the enemies. I really applaud Capcom in developing this game without using palette swaps.
Yeah, it's true.
Because that's one of the...
Well, except for Astaroth.
Well, that's true.
Other than that, yeah.
But, I mean, especially compared to other games, I mean, that was, to me, was the driving force. I wanted to see what kind of level was next. Because everything is so different than the level before. Like, that was the driving force. I wanted to see what the hell they did next and what kind of enemies they were going to throw at me next. Because the enemies weren't repeating. Each area had its own set of enemies, and a few reoccurring ones, like the small little vampires and stuff like that. But for the most part, they were different. And I guess the leaping cats, too, in the ice world.
Yeah, because after the foundry and the towers, then you're in the ice world. Which
no,
you're not in the ice world.
You're in the...
you're in the guts.
Yeah, which is really weird, because it's in the valley. So I don't know, and nothing swallows you.
Yeah, you're just inside something.
This really actually inspired me, and if I ever run a game again, I may use this because I think it's incredibly frightening to have just a landscape that is just organs. You know what I mean? Like that whole level, it reminded me of Akira. Because I'm like, are we fighting on Tetsuo? Like, just what is going on?
Pulsating flesh.
Yeah. It's just that it's unsettling. And I find it weird that I don't get unsettled by much, especially in video games.
Especially with fucked up stuff. You're pretty adapted to the fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, but for some reason, this whole level just really got to me. It's it's weird.
Well, see, I've got two interesting tangents. Well, one, mimics are in the game.
Yeah.
Because you'll find the chest that opens up and these little ghost fetuses will fly out at you and they jump up and down. They made platforming hard because they jump so high, it's hard to get around.
Higher than Luigi.
Higher than Luigi. And their legs don't even kick and slow down.
No.
They're just fast up and down. But just speaking of mimics and then you about the inside and organs scare you. I remember reading a post on the internet. I think it was before, I don't remember where I read it, but a guy who had run a dungeon in D&D where they approach a giant castle and everything's fine, standard castle. The deeper they get in it, the walls start looking like flesh.
I know where this
they
is going,
start like tongues and teeth and things like that until it turns out like instead of like a mimic just being a small chest, they're inside this just enormous mimic. So they're getting past its illusionary, trappings until they actually get into the actual monster part of it where they have to beat it. And I always thought that was the coolest sounding dungeon.
That is really cool.
I mean, I can never do it because it's a popular thing amongst D&Ders after it was published, but it sounds so very cool.
Yeah, no, I love it. And it's really creepy. I love horror, and that's one of the things that drew me to Ghosts and Goblins when I was a kid, is that all these different monsters are in the game. And that's what also drew me to this game when we played it, is that I like seeing all the different monsters and all the fucked up shit. But giant organs, ugh, I don't know. Ugh. Ugh. And then the boss of that's the Hydra.
Yeah, which I thought was Tiamat the first time because it's 3 different colored dragon heads.
Right, I thought the same thing.
And then after you beat the Hydra, then it turns into like one jumping Hydra head.
No, I didn't have that.
Because I killed the 3 of them together, and then it split off, and there was just one. It looked like it kept jumping at me, and then once I killed the one, then it exploded, and I got the key.
Really? That's weird.
And it also turns out whenever there's a key, if you hold up when the keys spawn and go grab it, then there'll be the additional dialogue, hey, nice catch.
Oh.
I don't know why, but if you press up, hey, nice catch.
I never did that. I'm sad now.
I did it once, and I was like, why did it say that? So then I looked at Game Facts. I was like, oh, okay.
You don't have to actually catch it. You just have to hit up.
You just hit up, and the game's like, oh, you caught it. Up means up. You caught it out of the air. Good job.
Also, when you just get the key regular, do you recall what it says?
No.
It says, take a key for coming in.
All right.
Which I guess they're continuing the tradition of bad translation for this series. Because this series, the original Ghosts and Goblins, the ending is the one that says, congratulations.
Yeah.
And then also when the levels start, it says, ready, go.
All right, well,
there you go.
You get a little bit of a ready, okay, ready, all right, now I'm going. There's no setting, and just ready, go. But then after the intestines, then of course that's the ice level.
Right.
Which that was when I really felt like, I just started this level. I'm at the boss already, because it's just bam, bam. And that's the first time you fight Astaroth is at the end of that level. No, you're right. It's the Ice Knight.
Yeah.
It's the floating ice guy.
Which the second time I went through, he froze me.
Yep.
But the first time, he didn't. Did
The first time I fought him, he froze me. And the second time when I fought him, then I avoided it and I didn't get froze.
I guess it was because on the first time, man, I had the dagger, and that dagger just tore his ass up.
Yeah.
Because all I had to do was keep jumping in the air and just a steady stream, because the range on that dagger is a full screen. Mm-hmm. So at any given time, he'd move forward, and I just moved the same space backwards.
That's what I did. I didn't have to face him with the crossbow. They would just fly off and
chase
hit
him down.
Yep.
But I guess when I went through the second time and I had the goddess bracelet, I had to get closer, and then that's when I found out that he can freeze you.
Yeah. So no, I never thought he was particularly hard. 1 or 2 times, both times it was nothing.
Yeah.
So it pretty short level, pretty easy. I feel like it was after all the shit you've just been through. I feel like, okay, maybe they're just being nice. Like, okay, here,
right?
Just chill out for a second. It's fine. Yeah, it's a nice level. Just chill out.
Nice.
Yeah.
You need to say it like Schwarzenegger.
Just chill out. God, I wish I just had a list of all the puns from Mr. Freeze. Then stage 6 is
no, you don't. No one needs that.
Stage 6, you're in a castle.
Right. You finally enter the tower, and there are a couple firebrands in there, and that's the hardest part.
Yep. Otherwise, it's just
because
the jumps are very far apart. But of course, you don't fall to your death. You just fall and you have to jump all over again.
Right.
So it wasn't.
Which I would do that on purpose, because for anyone not familiar with Firebrand, they're the I think they call them red RMRs or something like that. Firebrand is a specific one of those things.
Yeah.
But it's a lot fucking easier to say. I think that one had like 3 of them, and they're harder than the bosses.
Yeah.
Because
they have they move like rooks in chess, and it's very fast and then
sporadic, and it's so difficult to hit them, which I guess the crossbow came in handy.
Yep. Because I could just stay off the back and it would just chase them down, except for the one time it would just circle them.
Yeah.
So then I'd have to like wait it out and hope they don't charge me and I die.
But with any other weapon, I felt like those were really, really, really difficult because they're incredibly hard to hit.
Especially the goddess bracelet, because you have to be right up on them. Otherwise, you're trying to so many hits at distance, and then if you let them have a little bit of breathing room, they're fucking all over the place.
And they are fast.
Yep.
So I would lure them back down to the very bottom because when you enter, it's just flat. But everywhere else in that level is ladders and there's ramps and inclines and it's uneven and there's stair steps. I found it really hard to fight them on that uneven terrain. So I'd try to lure them all the way back to the beginning.
And enemies don't respawn.
Right.
In this game when you kill them, which I'm surprised they didn't.
I am too. Unless it's a level like the Ghost Ship where things are just
and the
constantly respawning.
Yeah, undead will respawn, I guess.
Yes.
So
which I guess we didn't make this connection earlier, but it makes sense, but it also explains why those first 2 levels felt like they were just crammed to the gills with enemies. It's because shit is just respawning left and right.
That's true. Okay. And what the set level after that is more castle?
Yeah,
Go
it's
through
just
more
more
castle
castle.
again. And then, because the first boss is Astaroth, form 1.
Right.
And then stage 7 is Astaroth again, and he has 2 forms.
And he's dressed up like Captain Crunch.
Yep. He goes from regular Captain Crunch to green Captain Crunch with his fire crotch, his incendiary gooter. And then that's, of course, when you beat him the first time, the princess then go get the goddess bracelet, come back, and then when you beat him, that fight, and this is where they really cut their budget again, because as soon as you beat him, boom, final boss.
Right.
There's no lead through, there's no approaching like a final stage, you're just bam, boss fight.
Which to be honest, I was kind of glad.
Yeah.
The second time I went all the way through, I was pretty much ready to just fight the boss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was kind of like, I've reached my limit.
Yeah. Which then the boss was intimidating because he's enormous.
Yes, very, very.
He's
big.
He's half the screen essentially.
Well, his head reaches the top of the screen.
And sadly he can only face forward and move side to side a little bit.
Right. And he also has a face on an article of clothing.
Yep.
What do you call that? It's like a girdle he's wearing, I guess. What's the plate
A cummerbund.
A cummerbund. A smiling cummerbund.
Smiling cummerbund. I don't know what you'd call it in actual armor.
Yeah, that bothers me that I don't know that. It's not a cod piece.
Nope, it's a little lower.
Yeah.
It's not a chest plate, it's a little higher.
It's higher.
It's the middle.
The stomach piece.
It's what guards your belly button against it unraveling on your guts falling out.
Right.
One of Jacob York's fears.
That's grotesque, dude.
Because I remember whenever they had to go through, because I remember it being, when I had my gallbladder out, they discussed going through your belly button and telling Jacob about that, he just freaked the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't like that.
What if it just if they untie it once, is it going to be as tight again the second time? Could it just snap and everything just falls out?
It's like you're having a baby?
Yep.
All right.
But then lasers come out of his head in a circle, and if you stand in the right spot, and then his belly piece vomits forth pedestals that will fly around him, that's what you use to hit him with the goddess bracelet.
Yeah, you have to jump up on one of those, let's just call him a tensor's floating disc for lack of a better term. You have to jump on it and it carries you to his head. You shoot his head with the goddess bracelet while avoiding the lasers. I thought this fight was really hard the first 4 times. And then when I figured out how to do it, it was incredibly easy.
Yeah.
Because all you have to do is wait for him to shoot the lasers out, then jump on the disc, then shoot his head in that order. The way I did it was, if he shot the discs out before he shot the lasers, I didn't even fuck with it. Because inevitably what would happen is I would jump up on the disc and then the lasers would hit me.
And there's no way you're avoiding that.
Right.
Yeah. There's no safe spot unless you're on the ground.
Is that pretty much how you did it as well?
That's exactly how I did it. And then I thought that it was easier with, the guy, because you have to be right in his face. So you go around him 3 times. That's it.
Right.
That's game. So overall, boss wasn't. I hear reading the game facts, after you beat it on normal mode, then you unlock professional mode.
No, that's automatically in there. because I know, because that's the first thing I did when I started the game. I was like, I know this is gonna be hard as fuck. So I immediately went and changed the difficulty to beginner. But I even though I knew I was gonna do it on the easiest mode, I also wanted to check out what was there. They have beginner, normal, I think difficult, and then professional.
And I've heard that he's the easiest boss in professional mode. Like it's a weird joke about how easy he is in professional mode. So
Interesting.
whether that, I mean, I just read that on the internet. I don't know why you want to go on the internet and tell lies.
Yeah.
But
Well, you know.
that's just what I read. I didn't do it.
Yeah, that's another thing that made this game easier than Ghosts and Goblins, is that they had an option menu where you could change the difficulty. You could dictate how many lives Arthur got, up to a maximum of 9, and you could dictate how many continues you got. Making it the easiest difficulty and cranking the lives and continues up, it's not that
You can
hard.
do it, yeah.
It's just a matter of time. And then as you progress through and you pick up bags of money and statues with visor up and visor down, the more points you get, the more lives you get, and the more continues you get. So it's almost to the point where for me, it got to the point where they were just replenishing themselves.
Yeah, it's still difficult.
Yeah.
And has difficult elements.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
they try to balance it out for you.
Which is really nice, because if I could have done that as a kid with Ghosts and Goblins, man.
I can see why since this isn't an arcade port,
Yeah.
that they could do that.
Right,
The
exactly.
other being an arcade port, they want your quarters. So
Man.
fuck you.
Have you played the second game in the series?
Nope.
I really want to play this because I watched some gameplay videos. I was like, I gotta see what this game looks like, because I like the other games in the series. You could throw up and down, which blows my mind. That's
That
a
change-
game changer.
Yep.
Like if that was in Super Ghouls and Ghosts, we're talking about a completely different, like that would be a game changing mechanic.
Yeah.
I don't know why it didn't carry over.
It's too easy. It's more programming. We want to have fancier levels. We need the towers to go around. Cut the up and down.
Yeah, I wonder
So
how
much
many.
budget.
I wonder how many enemies they had to cut out of the game because of the rotating tower.
So I guess let's discuss by request.
Yeah.
Should this be number 51 on IGN's Top 100? Because say we have like 700-ish Super Nintendo games. Reduce that to the top 100 of all
Right.
700.
Yes.
Should this be number 51 out of 700 games?
Okay, now this is where I'm going to get confused because I'm going to say I think it should be lower. But what's actually going to turn out is me saying it's supposed to be higher because it's a list that goes from 100 to 1. It's descending. I don't know which way to go with it. I think this game is better than 51. I'll just put it that way. I really do.
I agree.
Because it's been a long time since I had this much fun playing a game on this list. It might be because we just came off the tail of Ken Griffey Jr.
Griffey, yeah.
But I would put it in the 40s at least.
Okay, and the
Maybe
next
the
being
30s.
Yoshi's Cookie.
Yeah.
Which I haven't played that in a long time, but I can't imagine, like, man, these cookies are so much fun. It's way better than Arthur smashing ghosts. Woo!
You never know.
But yeah, I would agree that I think this should probably be tentatively what I'm familiar with on the top side of 50.
Yeah.
This should be in the top side as opposed to the bottom side. So I'm glad it's this close, but I'm sure it could be higher.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we've said that about many games.
No.
Most of us be like, this should be lower.
Yeah.
And except in the case of Bomberman, I think we've said everything should be lower.
Yeah.
So I got some achievements.
You got achievements?
I do.
What you got?
I've got 3.
Okay.
The first one being Never Nude.
Okay. That is an Arrested Development reference, is it not?
Yep.
I love that.
And that is you beat a boss in your boxers.
Okay.
As Arthur, and you get Never Nude. Yeah.
I like that one a lot. Well done.
The next one being It's Just for Looks, which that is to beat a boss.
That's a Gooder achievement, is it not?
Beat a boss in your armor. So
Okay.
you don't get touched. You don't even need that armor.
Okay.
It's just
The
for
flip
looks.
side of that coin.
Yep.
All right. Third achievement. There's always money in the banana stand.
I've already done that one for another game.
That's true.
This next one being Round Table,
Okay.
which is beat a different boss with a different weapon.
Okay. Awesome. You could also go with collect 12 of the night statues. The night boss.
That'd have been good too.
You do the Knights of the Round.
Yep.
All right, I've got 2. And I've actually prepared these. I don't know what's wrong.
Oh,
with me.
you were inspired by this game so much.
I
you
really
liked it.
was. And I played it for a very long time. And as I was playing it, these 2 came to me. The first one being No Guts, No Glory. in order to unlock No Guts, No Glory, you have to go through the fourth world without getting hit.
Oh, okay. And that's Trainsy heralding the achievements.
Trainsy likes that achievement, which I thought of that one because I did that. And when I did it, I sat there and I was like, I'm still wearing my gold armor. Did I not? I didn't get hit. So I was like, I have to make an achievement for that, just so I can say that I actually,
got that one.
I got one finally. We're on game 51, and I finally got an achievement. The other one, my second achievement is called Frozen in Verite, which is two references in one.
I'm familiar with the first half of that, but not the second half of that.
Verite, if you recall, is one of the precious metals in Ultima Online, and it is green ore. And you can craft this ore into Verite ingots, and then you can craft those ingots into full plate.
Okay.
Because I don't really think that Arthur's bronze armor should be green, I'm going to say it was Verite.
Okay.
And in order to unlock Frozen in Verite, you have to be frozen by the ice demon while wearing the green armor.
That's pretty good. That's obscure enough. I think it's pretty good.
It's extremely obscure.
That's one of those flipping through like, what the fuck? Okay. That's good. That's good. Good Trainsy.
Tyler.
Yes, Dave.
I had a lot of fun playing this game. This is one of the rare, and I don't mean any offense by this. This is one of the rare instances where I actually had more fun playing the game than I did recording the show. I think that might be a first for me.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that I think this is a bad recording. It's just I really enjoyed this game.
Yeah.
Man, Trainsy just won't shut the fuck up.
Please.
Trainsy also.
I'm a train.
I also love Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Guys, don't forget about me.
Damn.
Jesus. This is almost like stinger material. It's fucking comical. I think Trainsy's jerking off.
Someone's streaming our show and they're just fucking with us as they go by.
Tyler.
Yes, Dave.
If you were to give this game a beard, there are a couple of beards to choose from within this game. I don't know if you're going to go that route or not. But what kind of beard would you give this game?
Well, I know that you personally are just an enormous Tim Allen fan. Can't get you to stop talking about Tim Allen.
Can't get enough. You know whom I'm a bigger fan of? Wilson. They should have given that guy his own show. Where it's just, he gets neighbors on the other side of his house. And it's all just this voyeuristic show where he just watches them.
See, I wish it was a whole thing where like Tim Allen lives on his left.
Yeah.
Tia and Tamara from Sister live on his right.
Nice.
Family Matters is in his backyard.
Wait. Come on. Family Matters is Chicago, and Home Improvement, they were in Detroit, dog. Come on.
Damn, you
Come on.
You know your 90s sitcom cities.
Come on, man. I'm Tim Allen's #1 fan. Of course I know they're based in Detroit. He got into all that drug trouble. I forgave him. My parents didn't.
I want to see them redo Home Improvement now in modern day Detroit. That's a show.
When the pilot episode, they walk in and all their shit's gone.
He can't keep tools around. He was trying to blow shit up. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
They go to see Wilson. He talks to him for 5 minutes before he realizes that he was just talking to Wilson's decapitated head.
It's just slammed into the fence.
Yes, Tyler, I am familiar with Tim Allen.
I would give this Tim Allen's beard from the Santa Claus because he sees it in the mirror, and it's a big impressive beard. He shaves it, and it regrows all over again. So he has to shave it all over again.
Okay,
and he can't get rid of it. It just keeps coming, just in cycles. You can't get rid of it. It just happens over and over again.
I like that. So, it's kind of like herpes.
Yep.
It's beards. It's about treating it.
It's not about getting rid of it. You're never
going to cure the beard. And you might give it to somebody else.
I don't know how Meg hasn't caught my beard by now.
I don't know.
Cotton.
The cotton
She
beard.
doesn't have a cotton beard.
It's like
by
Santa
now.
Claus. It's back. We're tying it back.
God, cotton. We're both just like, we're making up words on this podcast.
Tyler.
Yes, Dave.
I liked that. I thought you might go with Arthur's beard or maybe even Sardis's beard because he has this big white Odin's beard almost.
That's true. He does.
But you didn't, and I respect that because now we had those wonderful Tim Allen goofs that are just Oh, man.
Can't go wrong with Tim Allen joke.
Our
Can't
listeners
go wrong.
are just going to eat it up. If you were to give this game a pair of glasses, what kind of glasses do you think you would give it?
Well, we mentioned it before where I gifted you Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
You did, yes, you did.
In order to get the proper ending of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, you have to get a pair of glasses. And these, I believe they're called spirit specs. Mm-hmm. These glasses allow you to see the floating spell above the cleric of Dracula. So I give this game
I forgot about
Alucard's spirit specs.
Okay.
Because you can't get the proper real ending without these glasses.
Okay. All right. I like that. Man, you just made me want to play Symphony of the Night like real bad. I haven't played it since you and I played it that day.
Yeah, 2006.
That was, a long time ago. All right. I like that. I can dig it, man.
Well, since we did it last week, we got people to thank this week.
Yeah, we do.
So we'll run through these quickly because now it's not the appropriate day for it.
Right.
So I'm just going to blaze through them.
Let's make
Just
an
blaze them
exception
through.
because we really do need to thank these people.
So for Facebook shares, Marquez Nicole, Saint Zach, Exalted Lord Micah Purdue, and Lord Dennis Robinson.
Thank you very much.
On Twitter, Correspondent Laura, Impresario Tony, Exalted Lord Micah Purdue, Lord Dennis, Marquez Nicole, Baron Drew Rowland, and Baron Paul Kluhl.
Twitter is strong.
Twitter's dominating Facebook now. Maybe because we can't see all the Facebook posts, but we can see all the Twitter posts.
Right. Yeah, it's impossible for me to see all the Facebook shares.
So, kind words from Lord Matt Barger and Phil Hawkins.
Yes, thank you very much, guys.
Thanks for listening, everybody. You can find the show on iTunes or Stitcher. So to miss the next episode, it'll be Othership Monday, and I'm not sure what we're talking about.
Okay. I'm sure we'll think of something.
The next Wednesday Super Nintendo game is number 50, Yoshi's Cookie.
That name has always given me, like, it skeeves me out. We'll get into that, I guess.
Okay.
Ugh.
While you're there, don't forget to subscribe, give the show a 5-star rating, write a review. It's good luck. It's good luck, and it improves your fortunes. Your luck score goes up, and you might find items in your mailbox because your luck score is so high.
Yeah, makes sense. We haven't seen one of those in a while.
Nope.
Which makes me kind of sad.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you listen to the show and you like it, do what Tyler said and give us an honest 5-star review on iTunes. We would really appreciate it.
Quite a bit.
Yep. Don't worry, guys. Like Tyler said, we will be back. In the meantime, if you need more TADPOG to cram in your mind, you can find us online.
Shove in your Tim Allen booze hole. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I forgave the guy. I still don't think my mom and dad like him. They felt betrayed by Tim Allen.
Well, your parents never forgive. You'll forgive. Parents never forgive.
Is that
That's just
the
way it
real
is.
advice mallard we need to post?
The one time I made the front page on Reddit was an actual advice mallard.
All right, you say it, and I'm going to redact it as you say it. Okay, get ready.
I'm trying to think exactly what I said. Don't trash your significant
Tim Allen.
Yep. Don't trash your
Tim Allen.
significant other to your parents. You might forgive them one day, but your parents will not.
You'll never forgive Tim Allen.
Nope.
I don't
Your
know.
parents are done.
Yeah,
Wrote them off.
I should call my dad one day on while we're recording, and we'll talk about Tim Allen.
Don't let him know. that
No,
we're recording.
no, hell no.
Why is your friend Tyler on this show? I just never spoken to you, sir. I think it'd be a good time for us to talk.
I'm a Tim Allen ambassador.
Or I just need to know that. Are you ready to forgive Tim Allen?
You're right.
Do you have it in your heart to forgive Tim Allen?
To accept Tim Allen.
Invite Tim Allen into your heart. So,
Sir, have you accepted Tim Allen as your Lord and Savior?
as your personal and eternal tool man, please. It is said that Tim Allen will come back and take 255,000 people into tool-time heaven with him at the end of time.
Turns out Detroit is Rapture.
Pretty close.
You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/tadpog. Twitter at tadpog_podcast.
More trains.
I know. Trainsy's real soft now.
Man.
Tracy's like, you guys done? Yeah.
Yay, don't forget.
Our intro song, Tyler. Or actually, before I get into that bullshit,
Yep. Yeah.
if they want to, if you're listening and you have a Tim Allen story, we need to know. I feel like I need the Unsolved Mysteries music playing in the background.
Has any of our listeners met Tim Allen?
Oh, there we go.
We need to know.
Surely someone listening to this show has met Tim Allen. If not...
Surely out of the 6 of you, you've met Tim Allen.
There's 6 of you, there's 2 of us, so out of 8 people, statistically one of us has met Tim Allen.
I don't know why he hasn't been at a Dragon Con yet. Hopefully,
Oh, man.
Hopefully he'll delve it. He did Galaxy Quest. He could be at Dragon Con.
Which I've got good things to say about Galaxy Quest. I'm not going to lie. I'm a Tim Allen fan. What can I say?
I know. That's why I said it. I know.
If you have a Tim Allen story, please give us a call at TADPOG Hotline at 270-883-2555. Also, why not tweet at Tim Allen? Lord Mike, I know you're going to do it. I know you're going to do it anyway. So let me just make it a formal request. If you're listening to this show, if you could tweet Tim Allen and tell him how much TADPOG loves him, that would be great. And hopefully he'll never listen to this ever, because he might get upset. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Mainly because my dad hasn't forgiven him.
Yep.
I think that would hurt his
And
feelings.
they'll come to blows, and that's going to be a whole other thing.
Our intro song, Tyler, is Moves by Sycamore Drive.
Yeah.
And a link to that track can be found in the show notes at tadpog.com.
People can also email us if they want.
Yeah.
They can.
Where at?
Tyler@tadpog.com. That's where that's mine. That's mine.
I'm David. I'm DavidTyler.com.
Oh. That's uncharted territory.
I'm DavidTadpog.com until I register TimAllenLovers.com. And that's going to be, I'm sorry, Tyler, I'm going to do my own show on Tuesdays. It's called Tim Allen Tuesdays. And what I'm going to do is watch all of his movies.
A different episode of Home. You do every episode of Home Improvement every week. One episode a week till you bring out all of Home Improvement, and then all of Man in the House, Galaxy Quest, his stand-up specials. What else has he been on?
More
I don't
stuff.
know. Santa Claus, all the Santa Clauses. Jungle to Jungle.
All of it. You were putting me to shame. You're naming shit I've never heard of. Did you say Jungle to Jungle?
Jungle to Jungle, it's where he adopts like a kid from the jungle and raises him in the city, and it's like him in a suit, and he has like a witch doctor mask on or something like that.
That doesn't sound insulting at all to any culture. I guess until next week, Tropical Capricorn.
Tropical Capricorn.
All right. Because by the time I had gone through the full time, the second through, that didn't make sense. Full time, second through.
Dave Moore, full time, the second through. Tropical Capricorn.
Ghost bullets.
We can also.
Did I forget something?
No, I'm just saying for the stinger, we can do our best Tim Allen.
I practiced that. I practiced that in the shower.
And we'll do the Home Improvement, because you did hear the boom, the acapella Home Improvement.